Why is the press and the palace refusing to look or comment or report on Meghan Markle's links to the same individual, and most importantly, her relationship, her close personal relationship with Prince Andrew?
And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. Wow.
It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
It suggested that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
Why aren't they pushing this nuclear button and just let the world know about Meghan Markle?
The one person who I think has been really happy about all of this is Prince Andrew.
Yeah, boy.
The one person who I think has been really happy about all of this is Prince Andrew. I'm guessing that he has been nudging the royal family. Can you believe what Meghan did, huh? Can you believe it?
You know, I mean, she used to be on Deal or No Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
We again highlight the mucky murkiness and mendacious manner of this alleged yacht girl. According to Urban,
of Meghan Markle's alleged, rumoured yacht.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star.
Just here it comes. Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return.
He knows that Meghan Markle was a hoe. He knows that Meghan Markle had a relationship with Prince Andrew. He knows that he is stuck in California. He knows he has wrecked his life with a D-list mattress actress.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
Later in the press conference, a reporter asked Trump about Meghan Markle, and this is what he had to say about her.
I'm not a fan of hers, and she probably has heard that, but I wish a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
Wow. Who had Meghan Markle on their random Trump insults bingo card? Anyone? If you're keeping track, Meghan Markle's got beef with the Queen of England and the President of the United States.
Nasty, and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
The late Virginia Roberts wanted to call Meghan Markle as a witness, and she said it was exactly because Meghan Markle was a close past associate of Prince Andrew and would have seen or participated or been around whatever he was doing. Why isn't the press calling this out?
Oh, honey, it was just another quiet Saturday night until it blew up like a Hollywood scandal bomb. Colin Jost, that sneaky SNL host with his smug grin, looked straight into the camera and dropped a punchline so sharp it sliced through the air. The studio froze and then exploded. He said one of the terms in Trump's new UK trade deal is that we send Meghan Markle back. Can you imagine the audacity? The audience gasped first, then roared, laughing so hard the whole studio shook. Because once again, Meghan became the world's favorite punchline. Not because of what she did that week, but because everyone knew exactly what that joke meant. It hit home, it hit nerve, and oh, it hit hard. And then he added, with that little smirk of his, but only if she deletes her entire Instagram again. Oh, the audience went wild. Twitter turned into a riot zone. Within minutes,
Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! No! I refuse!
Headlines were spinning like tornadoes. But behind those Montecito gates, who? It was not laughter, it was rage. Word is, Meghan was furious. Picture this, a wine glass, a marble countertop, and that sharp sound of glass meeting stone. Because this wasn't just another celebrity jab, this was personal. This was the biggest comedy stage in America, the mainstream primetime arena, and Meghan wasn't being mocked for politics or charity or struggles. No, she was being mocked for her brand, that perfectly polished, billion-dollar brand she's built from scratch, the one that looks shakier by the week. As the audience laughed, some people at home caught the subtext. That joke wasn't just comedy, it was a signal, a warning, a tiny, flashing red light light. Something was brewing, something that would turn that punchline into a prophecy.
The monarchy, what did you think it was going to be like?
Well, I didn't do any research about what that would mean.
Research?
No. I've never looked up my husband online.
What? Let me introduce you to this thing called Google, okay? Over there, I think it's called Lori. It's full of useful information. For instance, turns out your husband knew Princess Di. That might have been a hint that this was going to be a rough gig. So while you're Googling, you might want to try the combo Andrew, Island.
Barely days later, boom! The internet delivered its own knockout blow. Out of nowhere, a bunch of too perfect photos started popping up online. A golden yacht, European sun glistening on the water, champagne glasses, handsome men in shades, private staff gliding around, and right there in the middle, a woman in luxury swimwear laughing like she owned the ocean. And that woman? She looked exactly like Meghan Markle. The internet lost its mind. TikTok, Reddit, X. Every corner of the web turned into a detective's lab. People were zooming into pixels, comparing wrist tattoos, sunglasses reflections, belly button placement, for heaven's sake. And the crowd delivered its verdict fast. That's Meghan, no question. And this wasn't some blurry 2002 flip phone photo either. No, ma'am. This looked recent.
Andrew's confiding to friends about the not-so-secret relationship with him and Meghan Markle, and this is why Prince Harry wants to end the marriage, and is so disgusted he can barely touch his woman.
Since you like that, here's another.
Clean, high definition, way too perfect to be random. But the real chaos wasn't the photo itself, it was the timing. Just when Meghan was trying to rebrand, launch her rosé wine, tease her new documentary, and polish her resilient queen narrative, bam, these yacht photos dropped like a meteor. The whispers roared back, and her entire image started cracking live in real time. And the wildest part? This was just the opening shot. For years, Meghan sold a dream.
Julia was Jeffrey Epstein's last known girlfriend. She is on record saying that the only times she flew on a plane, went on a yacht, or whatever, was with her boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein. And here we have Rachel Meghan Markle parading on a yacht since 2014.
Retire, bitch!
The soft-filtered Instagram life, avocado toast, yoga mats, morning affirmations, manifest your peace kind of energy. She didn't just become a duchess, she became a movement, a brand of hope, self-love, and style. But when those yacht photos landed, whew, the illusion shattered. That wasn't some college party snap. This was different. It reeked of power. Online sleuths swear those photos were from her Suits era, the time she was crafting her clean feminist image. But the brand she was building, and the world in those photos, oh, they didn't match. Not by a decade, not by a brand. That's where the story cracked wide open. Because you can't sell purity and empowerment when you're sipping rosé on a billionaire's yacht, surrounded by powerful men, darling. That's not bad optics. That's a PR earthquake.
Prince Harry married a talentless Soho house, alleged, named Meghan Markle. And I've seen this before.
The photos weren't about luxury, they were about exposure. The myth of Meghan's reinvention was suddenly full of holes. She built herself. Brick by brick, every quote, every lens flare, every soft focus interview. It was all part of a master plan. But these photos, they didn't fit the script. They looked like the deleted scenes of her story, the ones she didn't want you to see. And the online crowd noticed. Every pixel was examined like it was evidence from a crime scene. See, this rumor, the infamous Yacht Girl story, never really died. It just went quiet, buried under PR, lawyers, and glossy covers. For years, people whispered that Meghan had connections in her past that were more strategic than romantic. But after she became a duchess, that story was scrubbed clean. Until now. Now it's back. Louder, meaner, and oh so detailed. Podcasts dragged up old timelines. YouTube resurrected the before the wedding exposés. The algorithm that once protected her, now it was feeding on her. The whispers turned to names. Prince Andrew, billionaires, party yachts, People started pulling out Meghan's old blog, The Tig, where she'd written about dreamy summers and exclusive invitations. It wasn't proof, but it was enough for the internet to connect dots that maybe weren't meant to connect. And when you mix curiosity with scandal, oh, that's when the fire spreads. Every influencer who once praised Meghan's journey went quiet, and her silence? That was the biggest noise of all. She didn't deny it. She didn't post a quote about resilience or truth. No statement from Archewell, no stay strong Instagram note. Just silence. And silence in Hollywood doesn't mean grace, it means strategy. Because when a lie hits your brand, you shut it down fast. You threaten legal action, you clear the record. But Meghan? She didn't, not a word. And people noticed. Even her loyal fans started fidgeting. Why isn't she denying it? They asked. Why isn't she fighting back? Because deep down, everyone knew. When something isn't true, you scream your innocence. But when you go quiet, people start to believe maybe there's something there. Behind the scenes, though, it was chaos. Insiders claim Meghan was calling her team nonstop. Emails flying, panic high, trying to refocus the media on her charity projects, her podcast, anything but that yacht. But it was too late. The joke from SNL had turned into a permission slip for the internet to laugh. And once the world starts laughing at you, not with you, there's no PR spin that can save you. Even Harry wasn't spared. Poor Harry, his face started appearing next to hers in every headline. Duke of Regret, one gossip mag called him. Some said he looked blindsided. Others whispered he'd gone quiet, skipping events, avoiding press. One palace insider allegedly murmured, "He looks like a man realizing the fairy tale came with fine print." Oh, you could feel the tension. Behind closed doors, Meghan, the queen of media control, was reportedly still fighting. But Harry? He was fading from the front lines, growing distant. And for a couple that built their empire on unity, that silence was deafening. People started saying maybe Harry was finally seeing the cracks everyone else saw long ago. Maybe he was starting to wonder who exactly he'd married. And that, my dear, was the real story brewing under all the noise. Because this was never just about a few old photos, it was about the illusion, the fairy tale she sold so flawlessly. From suitcase girl to duchess, from Hollywood hopeful to global activist, every frame, every smile, every filtered sunset was calculated. But one punchline from SNL and a few leaked images shattered years of PR in minutes. She'd built her brand on perfection. And when perfection cracks, there's no going back. Once the internet owns your narrative, you're done. You can't rebrand fast enough. Every interview becomes a meme, every speech a punchline, every quote twisted into irony. Now, Meghan isn't being admired, she's being studied. Not as a royal rebel, but as a woman whose greatest product might have been herself. And that's the cruel twist, because when your story is too polished, even the smallest imperfection looks like a lie. And honey, when the internet smells a lie, it never lets it go. And darling, it didn't stop there. Once the internet got its claws in, there was no turning back. Meghan wasn't just trending, she was spiraling. Every late night host had a joke, every gossip show had a theory, and every online commentator suddenly became a body language expert. People started replaying old interviews, dissecting her smiles, her pauses, even the way she looked at Harry. They said, "Oh, look at her eyes. That's not love, that's calculation." And soon even the fans who once defended her began whispering, "What if they're right?" Behind those Montecito walls, things were reportedly tense. Insiders said the mood had shifted. The house that once echoed with podcast recordings and camera crews now felt heavy, silent. Harry was spending more time in the garden, avoiding calls, skipping out on strategy meetings. Meghan, on the other hand, was glued to her phone, scrolling, pacing, calling her team over and over again. She couldn't control the narrative anymore. And for someone who'd mastered media like a magician, that loss of control was unbearable. Hollywood, that glittering town that once adored her, began pulling back too. Producers whispered about her being too controversial. Brands that had lined up to work with her started hesitating. Suddenly that polished image, the one that once screamed empowerment and elegance, now carried the faint smell of scandal. Because in that industry, darling, you can survive failure, but not mockery. Once they start laughing at you, you're done. Even her closest allies were said to be growing cautious. The influencers who used to repost her quotes now stayed quiet. The talk show hosts who'd gushed over her love story started avoiding her name altogether. It wasn't hate. It was fear. Nobody wanted to get dragged into a media wildfire, and Meghan could feel it, that slow, cold isolation creeping in from every side. Meanwhile, Harry, poor Harry, seemed caught between two worlds, the loyal husband and the man who'd sacrificed everything for love. But now that love was burning under the weight of rumors, and the man who once said he'd do it all again was reportedly retreating into himself. They said he stopped arguing, stopped defending, just went quiet. And when a man like Harry, once so fiery, so sure, goes silent, that silence says more than any denial ever could. You see, Meghan had built her entire empire on a single flawless story, that she was the underdog who'd fought the system and won. But now the story was turning on her. Every crack, every contradiction was magnified under the world's cruelest spotlight. The narrative she once owned was now being rewritten by strangers, and no amount of PR polish could save it. And yet, here's the irony that no one could ignore. The same woman who'd been mocked, shamed, and torn apart by tabloids was now being dragged not by the press, but by the people she'd once inspired. The same fans who had called her fearless were now calling her fake. The same followers who saw her as a symbol of liberation now saw her as a warning. That's the tragedy of fame. The higher you climb, the faster they pull you down. By the time the chaos began to cool, it was too late. The yacht rumors, the SNL jokes, the endless commentary, they had merged into one unstoppable narrative. Meghan Markle, the global icon, had become a meme, and no duchess, no publicist, no palace could fix that. Because this was never just about a leaked photo or a tasteless joke. It was about a brand built on perfection. And perfection, my dear, can't survive exposure. Once people see the real, unfiltered you, they stop believing in the dream. And that's what happened here. The dream broke, the mask cracked, and somewhere in that big Montecito mansion, between the silence of her phone and the echo of her own reflection, Meghan Markle finally faced the one thing no PR team can protect her from, the truth catching up. And in this world, when that happens, oh sweetheart, it's game over.